went out there, Sharon, and we gave blankets to those people. Felt so good, didn't it? Because joy comes from giving. And those of you who gave blankets, I want you to own that for yourself. That those people were so grateful. Yeah. So very, very grateful that you were there for them this holiday season. But we have it in our consciousness from our childhood that if we add something to our lives, it will become joyous. That's the way to joy and happiness. Chocolate. Cookies. Little time down the road, Seagrams and 7 came into my life.
Barbecue chicken.
Hashish, drugs, chocolate cake, the right mate. Have I mentioned chocolate yet? That doesn't always work out, does it? Doesn't always work out. The best that those things can do is to rearrange reality temporarily. And that can be fun and temporarily pleasant, but you always come home to you. Is the problem. You always come home to you. Now, spiritual adepts and mystics discovered somewhere along the line that the reverse is true. That when we give, we receive joy. It's called the law of giving and receiving. In metaphysical terms, spiritual institutions call it the law of giving and receiving. Your Santa Claus. These can be gifts, can be friendship, doing a good turn for another person, a smile, a prayer. Joy is about bringing and being loved. Some time ago, a good friend shared a wonderful story with me, and I wanted to share it with you. You may have heard it already or read it, but there's no better day for it than today. He wrote a wonderful story I'm going to share with you. I remember my first Christmas party with Grandma. I was just a kid. I recall tearing across town on my bike to visit her the day my big sister dropped the bomb. There is no Santa Claus. I'll whisper that. There is no Santa Claus, she jeered. Even dummies know that. Grandma was home and she just had baked cinnamon buns. Between bites of a cinnamon bun, I told her everything. She was ready for me. No Santa Claus, she snorted. Ridiculous. Don't believe it. That rumor has been going around for years and it makes me mad. Plain mad. Now put on your coat and let's get going. Go where, Grandma? I asked where. Turned out to be Kirby's General Store. As we walked through its doors, Grandma handed me $10. That was a bundle in those days. Take this money, she said, and buy something for someone who needs it. I'll wait for you in the car. Then she turned and walked out of Kirby's. I was only 8 years old. I'd often gone shopping with my mother, but never had I shopped for anything but myself. And never have I shopped for anything all by myself. The store seemed big and crowded, full of people scrambling to finish their Christmas shopping. For a few moments, I just stood there, confused and clutching that $10 bill, wondering what to buy and who on earth to buy it for. I thought of everybody I knew, my family, my friends, my neighbors, the kids at school, the people who went to my church. I was just about thawed out when I suddenly thought of Bobby Decker. Bobby was a kid with bad breath and messy hair, and he sat right behind me in Mrs. Pollock's second grade class. Bobby Decker didn't have a coat. I knew that because he never went out for recess during the winter. His mother always wrote a note telling the teacher that he had a cough. But we kids knew that Bobby Decker didn't have a cough, and he didn't have a coat either. I fingered the $10 bill with growing excitement. I would buy Bobby Decker a coat. I settled on a red corduroy one that had a hood on it. It looked real warm, and I thought Bobby would like that. Is this a Christmas present for someone? The lady behind the counter asked kindly as I laid my $10 down. Yes, I replied, it's for Bobby. The nice lady just kind of smiled at me. I didn't get any change, but she put the coat in a bag and wished me a Merry Christmas. That evening, Grandma helped me wrap the coat in Christmas paper and ribbons and wrote, to Bobby from Santa Claus. Grandma said that Santa always insisted on secrecy. Then she drove me over to Bobby Decker's house, explaining as we went that I was now and forever one of Santa's helpers. Grandma parked down the street from Bobby's house, and she and I crept noiselessly and hid in the bushes by his front walk. Then Grandma gave me a nudge. "All right, Santa Claus," she whispered. "Get going." I took a deep breath and I dashed for his front door. I threw the present down on his step. I pounded on the doorbell and flew back to the safety of the bushes where Grandma was. Together, we waited breathlessly in the darkness for the front door to open. Finally, it did, and there stood Bobby. 40 years haven't dimmed the thrill of those moments spent shivering beside my grandma in Bobby Decker's bushes. That night, I realized that those awful rumors about Santa Claus, just what Grandma said they were, ridiculous. Santa was alive and well, and we were on his team. Sweet.